Aspie Bridge Show. My name is Emily Gomer, and I'm a podcast engineer with the World of Ability Podcast Network, which this show is a part of. Uh, so, Aspie Bridge, we just started several months ago with Suzanne Plumley um, about late diagnosis, Asperger's, and so on. So, I'm going to bring Suzanne on in here to get kicked off today with our guest and so on. Welcome, Suzanne.
Welcome, Emily. It's hard to believe I started on January 2nd, and here we are, and I'm finishing the fourth month and into the fifth month. Wow, this is great. I love
Right.
this. So, and Julie, are you still with us today?
Hi,
Yeah.
Suzanne. Congratulations, your fifth month. I didn't realize. Oh, I feel so honored to be here today.
I am so appreciative to have you here. Well, welcome back everyone to the Aspie Bridge Show, where we help you as women who are feeling stressed and feeling ashamed and feeling kind of victimized about being diagnosed or self-diagnosed Aspie women. This is the place to come because we are here to help you walk over this bridge back into society as I have done with the help of my guests and many others, to go back into society comfortable. And today we're talking about the longing and discontent you find in your life. But before we go there, we're going to talk about our tagline with all the awesome women and men out there who are late diagnosed, telling you what late diagnosed autism is. You don't need another woman telling you what the traits are. The mission of the Aspie Bridge is to help you come out of your discomfort of being diagnosed, of finding out later in life after the school years are over that you're diagnosed with autism. Oh no, no, there is no oh no. This is a great place to be because with people like Julie and many others I've already introduced to you, you can go over this bridge with confidence, knowing that people like Julie will help you get onto the other side and show you that there are wonderful people out there that are ready to help you. They are ready to comfort you so that you're not feeling like you're all alone. And of course, I'm here as your torchbearer to help you from one side to the other because I've been successful in doing that. And I have a large organization as stand by me. And what a thrill that is. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you Julie. Deanne, did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Julie Deanne.
Perfect. Julie is one of my bridge builders, and she has a very special role for you moms. She is the woman who is going to help you connect to the schools so that when you have the discomfort in communication with your child's teacher, she is the perfect go between to make sure that the languaging, the homework expectations, the showing up on time issues that you might experience, maybe a little bit of the disorganization your child has. Coming together with your child's teacher or children's teacher, if you have more than one, to come up with a program, a routine, so that you're both communicating on the same page. And Julie is awesome at that. And for you moms who want to get to know more about Julie, she has an awesome book to start teaching your kids how to become more aware of their lives. So they're not just running around, they're actually making good little conscious little kid decisions instead of just being all about. And that's going to help with their organization and their success. So, Julie, would you like to say a little bit about yourself and talk maybe about the title of the book quickly?
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. The book is called Which Would You Choose? And it is scenario based. I actually created it with the help of my daughter based on a lot of her school experiences and many others, very common scenarios that kids run into, but it teaches them how you can choose negative thoughts or positive thoughts, the hard way or the easier way, more fun way. But in the end, you're going to be the same person. So, which would you choose? And this helps them with emotional intelligence, boosting self confidence, and cultivating a can do attitude. And that's what we want.
Oh, absolutely. Because when you have the mom and the teacher talking, or the mom and dad, in many cases, talking to the teacher, if the kids are on board, they're going to feel their own personal success. They're going to have their own forms of motivation. So it's not about the teacher telling the kid, do your homework, or the mom telling the kid, yeah, you got to do it now. It's more of a three-way partnership. And I love
Mhm.
that. Absolutely love that. Today, Julie and I each have our own longing and discontent stories. And before I go there, I want to talk to you a little bit about what is longing and discontent. Well, some of you are going through life and maybe you're not quite happy with parts of it, but you love others. Maybe you have a question that you've been putting around in your mind, like, do I really like what's going on in my circumstance? Do I really like the conditions of where I live? Do I like the situations that are happening in my kid's school? What what do I like? Do I like my career? Maybe I would have a career and I don't like that either. These are all your longings. These are some of your actually your discontent first is asking yourself, what do I like about my life? But what could really change? Where do I have the ability to say, I'm not okay with this? I'm not okay with this part of my life. And sometimes those are little things like maybe I'd like to get a part time job. Maybe those are sometimes some of the bigger, harder things like, do I move across the state lines because I'm not liking where I live right now? And then we have the big ones, which is, am I really content in my marriage? Am I getting fulfilled in my marriage the way I would like to be? Now, these are all difficult situations. And as we go on in the week, we'll really delve deeper and deeper. As we did last week, we talked about the very beginning of notice what you're noticing. Who are you? What are your special strengths? What really lights you up? And are you in that pathway to go in that direction? As I said last week, it doesn't do much good if you have a job in a sporting goods store when you'd rather be in a library. It just doesn't make an alignment with your life. And those are where your discontents come in as well. You start to say, do I really want to sell another box of Nike shoes? Or the library is just not my thing. I'd rather be out on the tennis court and selling tennis rackets. Those are discontents. But maybe you long to go to the bookstore at Barnes and Noble and read books to kids, like Julie's book, per se. Or maybe you'd like to go into a library and do filing. These are longings. And there are ways to help you get from one to the other without a lot of process, but we can help you with that. Um, Sometimes when we get so upset with our circumstances, what starts to happen is, yeah, you get that discontent. And if you really find that your discontent is building and building because you've ignored it, pushed it to the side, disregarded it because you didn't think you were important, because you are. You are important, right, Julie? You got to start.
Absolutely.
We were saying that self love comes first. You can't help anyone else in your family if you don't have self love. And if you keep ignoring yourself, discontent eventually breaks down your body. It could give you aches in your knees, painful feet, stomach aches, bloating,
Hmm.
uncomfortable. I've had chest pains and a cough because I'm going through my own discontent right now with where I'm at. So when you see a sickness coming on, let's use that. Notice what you're noticing.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're getting sick? Are you overtired? Or is it deeper than that? Is it more of a, this is just not sitting right with me anymore? My stomach hurts. My heart hurts. I have awful headaches now. You notice what you're noticing. Why do you have some of these? Your mind controls your body. Your body doesn't control your mind. And so that's the
Absolutely.
first place to think about. What is causing that stomach ache? Are you just kind of feeling like this house is not right for you anymore and it's too much to handle? That can cause a lot of pain if you're constantly trying to keep up with it. And your
Hmm.
body is the first place to tell you when things aren't quite right in your life and you really need to start making some changes. And that's what it means to symptomize in your body. Your brain knows that there's something that's not quite right with what the way you're living.
Hmm.
And your body will say, yeah, you're right. And we need to make changes. So, excuse me,
It's okay.
that's how
Oh
that's how
yeah.
you know when it's time to start making some steps. Now, I'd like to start off with Julie's longing and discontent story because we have an interesting scenario here. Julie is in the mothering stage. She has a daughter at home who she's taking through the process of learning how to live her life with more conscious thinking. My girls are in their 20s. They're already out of the house. So you have the mothering and the empty nesting stages. So, Julie, would you like to share your longing and discontent story with us?
Absolutely. Thank you, Suzanne. And I do love it that we are in kind of these transitional periods in our lives with our daughters. Um, so my biggest longing right now is when I learned about all of this, new thinking back during COVID, so over 4 years ago, and got inspired to write the book and everything. Um, when I first got certified, to be a transformational coach, I wanted to do that full time. I wanted to quit my day job, quit everything, and just go full time. But realistically, I'm a mom. I have responsibilities. Plus, I this is my career. I'm within a couple years of retirement, and do I really want to throw all of that away? No, and there's no reason to. And I still love what I do. I found a new passion. So, I had to start changing. I had to reframe. I had to change my mindset. And so do what you can with what you have from where you are right now. And so I just started saying, you know what? I will just take the steps that I can in the time that I have. And I will also begin to live as the person that I'm becoming right now in my current career. So I talk to my colleagues at work and I'm able to give them guidance. They don't know specifically that this is based on my coaching, but yeah, I'm helping them. And then my daughter, I'm guiding her and starting to help her think differently about situations that she comes into that are, she has a particular teacher that she has a lot of difficulty with, and I've been helping her with having, with reframing that, with how to deal with that in the classroom, and of course other kids as well. So it's actually a lot of fun. You get to practice what you preach and teach, and also you learn more in the process, which is really great. So we're all growing and expanding.
Absolutely. And it's so great that you talk about the fact that you can bring them both to your daughter and to your coworkers. And I
Hmm.
think that's great. Having a daughter who's still very impressionable.
Hmm.
Wow, what a gift to be able to bring these teachings
Well,
to her right now.
yes, and I will caveat that with, a few years ago when she was a little bit younger, so she's almost 13.
Mm-hmm.
When she was a little bit younger, she was more open and receptive, and I could tell her things like, so I taught her this one trick that I find very powerful, and it's very simple, and I use this in my current like job where I am when I was really feeling that longing to be a full-time coach and not wanting to go to my job and recognizing that's not a good way to be. You should never you should never not appreciate or complain about your current situation or your current circumstances, because they got you to where you are right now, and there are always benefits, and you're learning from that. So appreciate, gratitude. So I did this technique, and I taught it to my daughter, and at the time she actually learned it and she did it herself, but I call it the flip around. So it's
Mm-hmm.
essentially, whenever you are thinking a thought that makes you feel bad, that you don't like, it doesn't matter what it is, anything that doesn't make you feel good, you literally say, stop, I choose not that. Then you replace it with a new thought that you do want to believe. And a lot of times it's the total opposite. So, for example, my daughter, she used to say, well, not her, but some kids will say, I never make friends easily. I can't make friends. Well, do you want to be like that? Is that what you want to believe? And typically the answer is no, I don't want that. I want to make friends. So then flip it around and tell yourself, you know what? From this moment forward, I choose to always make friends easily. I always make friends easily. Everybody loves me. And I'll tell you, it works. You keep repeating it. What you repeat becomes a belief, as long as you're
Mm-hmm.
not, canceling it out. So you keep repeating it. You keep saying it. Eventually, you're going to start feeling it in your body, in your heart. And there you go. Then you're starting to install that new belief. And guess what? You'll start making better decisions that will start reflecting into your reality, your belief. And that's like, just like Suzanne said, your mind controls your body, it controls your reality. So it starts with the thought and changing those beliefs. And so at work, every time something would come up that I would find, I'd feel a little tension or anxiety or worry that it's going to take up too much time, or I didn't want to do it, or I wasn't going to like it, I would just say, you know what? This is a phrase that popped into my head one day. It was like, I always quickly and easily solve whatever comes my way in a fun and easy way. I
I
always
like.
quickly and easily solve whatever comes my way in a fun and easy way. And I would just keep repeating that. And for me, as soon as I said that, I felt total relief, calm, and I just trusted. I'm being
Mm-hmm.
divinely guided. I trusted it's going to work out. And you know what? Every time I would feel better. Every time, whatever it was, when it was done, I would look back and I'd say, oh my gosh, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. Or, oh, well, that was easy. And now I just repeat it like every day whenever I get to work, just as a preemptive thing.
Yes.
And it's so
Yes.
much
I
fun.
like
It's
that.
great.
Yeah. Suggestions are really very powerful.
Hmm.
Affirmations. My favorite affirmation. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better.
Yes.
And I am. I mean, I look at what I did at the conference 2 weekends ago, and I'm just like, wow. There's so many women who long to be in that opportunity,
Yeah.
who would think like, whoa, there's no way. But if you go in, you say, I'm getting stronger and stronger. And
Every
I
day.
know how to use my breath to calm me. I know how to find the seat at the end. So if I need an escape, I can go. It's
Right.
all about finding those coping mechanisms. First, the breath, as I've taught you many times,
Yep.
that really slows down your parasympathetic mode and gets you to find that inner calm. I mean, I was in the middle of 700 people dancing and having fun, and that's not usually something we're able to do. But when you find that calm, and it's not a 5 hour event of dancing, and in that there are periods of time where we are dancing and having a lot of fun, allow it, because you know it's not going to be 5 hours long. It's just a short time. Have fun, and then you can find the inner calm again when the music ends. But that's the start of it. Is
Yeah.
really taking control of finding our inner calm. And that helps with longing and discontent, because then you can say, okay, what are my needs? And we have a mentor who says, find your internal pause button. Well, my internal pause button is right here on my heart. It's like, okay, how do I really want to respond in this
Mm,
situation?
yeah.
And when you say to that, those 5 words, how do I want to respond? It gets your mind to slow down and say, do I want to come back as frantic? Well, no, that's going to lead to a burnout or to a meltdown, even worse than a burnout, because now you're might be offending someone else who's just trying to help. And so that brings me into my longing and discontent. As I've told you many times, I work at Starbucks and I work in the drive through window and I love it. I really do love it. I consider it my office hours for my coaching. And there's a cute little story about the hot dog vendor where this guy decides that he can't have the job he wants yet, but he's working toward it. He's
Hmm.
taking his discontent and he's working toward it. And the hot dog stand man puts on this personality of person of increase. And every time a customer comes up to buy a hot dog, he's just offering them life skills. And he's giving them pieces of, well, the weather's going to get better and your day's just begun. And you know what? That starts a ripple effect in his life. And it makes you feel better because you're doing that. And I found that that's been wonderful for me. I feel like even though I'm at a Starbucks window, I'm actually at a very gourmet coffee shop, coffee truck serving coffee. I know all the customers, I by name, I know their orders,
Aw.
and we got to a point where our story got to be number one because of this person of increase modality I put on. And it
Yeah.
was so much fun. But now, my age, I'm an empty nester, as I said. I'm in my mid 50s, and standing for 5 or 6 hours at a time is where my body's trying to say, whoa, whoa, you're not 25 anymore like the rest of the employees. And if you keep pushing yourself to work 25, 30 hours, you are going to be in burnout. So this is where I have to start to say, yes, I love my customers and I will give them thank you notes before I leave. But now I'm at the point where I am seeing how much fun I'm having on my podcast and I'm starting all these different things in my coaching that I'm at the point where I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I work 25 hours at Starbucks every morning, starting at 4:30 in the morning and getting out at 10, come 11 o'clock, I'm exhausted.
Mm.
And I really don't have the fullness to give to all of you. I mean, today I'm off. I purposely plan Tuesdays I'm off, but there are days I have worked Tuesdays and I'm
Oh,
trying to get
wow.
through it. My body's saying, stop, stop, you're doing too much. And then that's where this cough is coming from that you keep hearing from me is my body is saying, no, thank you. So I have decided that it's time for me to go fully into my coaching. That's my longing to help all of you to see that this is possible for you to find something that truly aligns in your pathway. Now,
Hmm.
I was an educator myself, and I was in the school systems, and I have decided to take that form of teaching to all of you. And that's where I'm still using my background. I'm not going to serve coffee anymore to people, but I can still bring person increase and teaching to you. But I can now really focus on all of your needs versus being half and half. And I love that. Love that. So, what do you think of that, Julie, as you get to that point where you can say, okay, my body is telling me it's time to go?
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I love that story. And thank you for sharing that, Suzanne, because that is really powerful. And I love that you bring up not only listening to your body, but the power, I call it the power of the pause. It's not me, this is out there. A lot of people talk about this, but, you know, understanding that I was actually feeling this last night a little bit. I was thinking I might take off today or take a few hours and just, kind of rest and rejuvenate. But I woke up feeling pretty good, so I went ahead on to work today, and it's been a light lift, I would say, which is really great. And then I had time, obviously, to join you, which is awesome. But,
Well,
listening to our bodies and taking a pause is so important because it's not all about do, do, do. It's about being. It's about
mhm,
being in the moment, who we are, in our bodies, in our minds, listening within to what we truly desire, and then taking an aligned step forward, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's never about being impulsive, is it, Julie? It's
No. I mean, there's,
no,
if it's a fun moment, impulsively, oh, let's go play at the park, or oh, let's get
good
tickets
ice
and go to
cream
the,
or
whatever, right? Let's get tickets to that show. Yeah, that's if it's impulsive in a fun way and it lights you up, absolutely, right? But yeah, not impulsive as in,
careers.
yeah, I think I want to do that, and then there's a wake you leave behind you that is destructive. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And that leads into the fact of should we stay in status quo or should
Mm,
we take a brand new step? And when we say step, we're not talking step, we're talking
maybe.
step.
Mhm,
Maybe there's a way to reduce your hours so
mhm.
that you're finding, like for me, I found at my last job when I worked at Home Depot that I couldn't work nights anymore because what would happen is I used to do all my fun things
Oh,
from the time I woke up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then 4 o'clock came and I was supposed to be at work at 4:30. And I'm like, do I really want to go?
uh, yeah,
And yeah, that's staying in the status quo without making steps.
yeah,
So when I switched from Home Depot to Starbucks, I said, no more nighttime
yeah.
because I need to know for me that I can go to work and get that paycheck I needed at the time 5 years ago. I needed to get that paycheck,
Mhm.
but I could design when I worked.
Yeah,
That was the baby step I took was rearranging my schedule with what worked best with my body and saying, okay,
see.
I can't be a closer anymore because I have so much I love to do before that I really don't want to go. But
Mm,
now I'm having fun sending people out into the world to start their day, and I'm leaving and doing my thing. So, baby
yeah,
steps.
I
How
love
can you
that.
shift your schedule? How can you go from maybe working in one job, as we were talking about, to a different job that is more in alignment? Don't go, oh, I'm quitting tomorrow. You do have to be respectful to your coworkers. I gave a month, and I recommend you do the same thing.
Yeah.
It gives you time to really assess what little changes need to take place.
Mhm.
Don't take a huge step and walk out tomorrow because that's going to be harder for you to stay in a groove that you need to stay in. As Julie said, for responsibilities, family responsibilities, you can't just give up a paycheck if you have needs for it. But so that's the difference of staying in status quo. Don't stay where you hate it, but
Right.
find those little decisions as an adult where you can say, well, I do like my job, but I don't like the hours I work. So change your hours. Or I do like the company I work for, but I don't like this job responsibility. Find another job within the company. Or if you're selling Nikes and you want to sell books, go and put an application in at Barnes and Noble. Little steps. Don't just jump off the bridge. We don't want that to happen.
Mm,
So understand status quo versus impulsivity. The next thing is risks or fears. Well, that brings in the fact of a fear might be stopping your job next week. Where is the money going to come from if you're relying on it? Where is your health benefits going to come from if you need to go to the doctor or your children need to go to the doctor? groceries, everything, car, gas. You can't take such a risk that you don't have that. You have to really evaluate what kind of risks are you able to take,
Mhm.
and are there fears that are going to stop you? Julie, I'm going to take a coughing break, but I'm going to let you fill in for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead. Take care of you. Get some water or something. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, there's an interesting thing that that I've learned in these past few years, and Suzanne's very well aware of this, that our fear is actually there to protect us. It's like a protective big brother, big sister, right? It comes up because there's something new, something we're not familiar with. It doesn't matter if it's new and it's good or bad. It's just it's gonna pop up unless we really feel, oh, this is going to be fun, right? So so when that fear comes up, you just talk to it like you would a big brother, big sister, and say, thank you for your concern. I really, no, I appreciate it. I know you're trying to keep me safe, you're trying to keep me alive, but I got this. I got this. I'm making this decision. I know that this path, this next step is going to be in my best interest. It's going to be good. There might be some risk involved, it might be unknown, but it's okay. I've made the decision and I'm moving forward. And the more that you talk to your fear like that, like an older sibling or even a grandparent or something that is just there trying to protect you and keep you safe. But the problem is, sorry, you don't you don't want to stay in the status quo anymore, right? We don't want that status quo. We want to grow and expand. And so you just have to talk to that fear like it's a friend and say, thank you, but you can go back to sleep or just get in the back seat. I'm driving the car here and I'm in control. The more you do that, the kinder your fear will be. It will stop barking at you and it will just, oh, oh, it'll be a little squeak. Hey, did you think about this? And you can say, oh, thank you. Or, yes, I did. Thank you. You can go back. Right. And you get a
Absolutely.
yeah, you get a better relationship with it. And this helps you to feel better about making decisions and about taking, risks, but feeling more confident about that and safer and happier, knowing that growth and expansion is what makes you safer, not status quo.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Last week I talked about paradigms, and paradigms are what keep our fears, keep us stuck
Mhm.
where we are and not enjoying the life we would love. Fears say, whoa, your mother didn't have any success doing that. You didn't have any success doing that. Why are you going to do that? That's a fear. That's a stop sign. We don't want to let that happen. A risk is saying, I know that might be a regular history, but I'm going to stop it today. And
Mhm.
I'm going to take one baby step that will change what I'm thinking about it. I'm going to take a baby step that says, you know what? If I get on a different road, I drive right by a by a bookstore every day, which
Yeah.
is closer than going to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Mhm.
Actually, is that really a risk if I'm not driving as far? Why not put in the application? What's the worst that can happen? That's not a major risk. But don't let your fear say, well, you weren't successful last time. What makes you think you're going to be successful this time? That's the paradigm I was talking about last week. So there's a really great phrase that we use in our organization that says stop signs are not roadblocks, they're qualifiers. They get you to think about what decision makes the most sense for you. It's not to say don't do it. Think of it maybe more as a yield.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much a yard sign. Yield to the best decision that makes sense for you and your family. Don't
Mm.
stop and say, well, I'm done. I can't do anything else. I'm stuck. No, you're never stuck. It
Yeah.
just means that you need to pause, yield, and say, what can I do that will make my situation a little bit nicer for me? Because I think I deserve it. And my family deserves a happier me. Why not? So that takes us into reducing resistance in our immediate circles. Who is in your immediate circle? And how much do you need to give them autonomy over your decisions? You know, they may not always agree with your answers. Well, gee, why are you going to go to the bookstore? You're going to make maybe $15 to the $18 at Dick's. Well, you know, sometimes the price you pay for happiness well offsets that. Sometimes you just have to take, there again is maybe a little bit of a risk, making a little bit less money, but if you're happier, you may advance faster into a supervisory role. So is it a long-term risk? So we really need to sit down with our family and say, I made an important decision for me. I know I've been working at a sporting goods store or bookstore, and I'd rather work at this place. And I know it may be a change in our schedules. I know it might be a change in my paycheck. I'm not asking you to agree, but I am asking for your love and support
Yeah.
because I'm going to be a better version of me if you'll support me through this change. Yes, we're going to have to work together on our schedules,
Mm.
but I really value your support. What do you think, Julie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just nodding along with you saying this is so powerful and so important that, like you said, you make a small change adjustment and you ask people not for their approval, because you don't need approval. And you don't even
Mhm.
ask them to agree with you. You're just asking for their support and love for you as a person making your decisions, and that they will just hold that space, right? That everything works out and they're willing to work with you. That's when you know you truly do have bonds and relationships built upon love and trust and mutual respect, because that's what it's really about.
It
Letting
really
everyone
is.
grow in their own way and live their journey, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we women who are Aspie, we do have a lot of trouble with trust. And I really want to just say that because I'm setting up these resources for all of you, Julie and all the others that I've already brought on, and the ones that are going through that are going to come on in the future, that's where your connection to my Aspie Bridge Builder group is really going to make some of these decisions a lot easier for you.
Mm.
You should never go through it alone. And if you're not getting the love and support from your family members right away, I have people who can help you talk to them, like Sandra Vox, who came
Mhm.
on at the beginning of the podcast. Or in next week, we're going to have, not next week, but next month, we're going to have Samantha and Mark come on, who are going to talk about your spousal connections and relationships and how to talk to them. And we're going to have maybe grandparents and others come on and talk about that special relationship that can go back and forth. You're not alone. You never have to make a decision all by yourself. I have these wonderful people. Look at Julie. Look at that smile. She's not going to let you down.
No.
She's not going to say, you're not my problem anymore. Now, as I say, you're going to have a 2 hour period, different blocks of time with Julie. If you need help with the schools to arrange a
Yeah.
better schedule or better outcome for your children, but she's not going to say, all right, you're done. She may have other ideas that she can give you during the follow up. She may have other programs that may help you. You never
Mhm.
know. If you don't reach out and ask me to connect you to a bridge builder, you may be alone. And we don't want to see that because you guys haven't had, you ladies, actually, I should say, although we do have a few men, you ladies are not going to get the full value of life if you don't start making some very valuable connections. And these bridge builders that I've brought on so far just want to help.
Mhm.
So I really encourage you to register for the AspieBridgeBuilder.com website so that we can start to set you up with all of these wonderful people that have been there to support and love me. They really have. I mean, when I told them about the program, they were right on board.
Oh, yeah.
Julie, what do you think about the Bridge Builder program so far? I know I just set it up
Uh,
for you.
it's fantastic. I mean, what you're doing, Suzanne, and the topics you cover and the people you brought on, and it's just what an amazing reason. You are such a radiant, joyful light in this world. You're going to help so many people. I'm just thrilled to be a part of it and to be here helping and helping parents connect with their kids and connect with their schools and all of this because it's together. We're a community. We're a world community. That's what we are. And we need to start functioning like a community. So, yes,
When-
reach out. I'd love
Yes.
to talk with you all. This is
Oh,
awesome.
I think that's going to be a huge plus for these kids who
Mhm.
feel like they're bounced around too much and
Yeah.
they're getting conflicting messages. But Julie, you're going to be there to help make sure that there's a triangle of support right there
Yes.
between you and the parents and the child to make sure that the child feels fully supported, and that's going to help them feel successful.
Yes.
And just think
Absolutely.
of the amount of discontent that we're going to alleviate right there.
Oh, yeah.
The stress
Absolutely.
of the kids not feeling like they can come up to their parents and say, I'm having trouble with this class or whatever. But we're getting a little off target for
Yeah.
longing and discontent there. But we're going to keep going. I'm going to have Julie come on another time when we start to talk about the kids in our lives
Oh,
month.
good.
And I think we'll get into more of that category then. But I think Julie's been wonderful about helping you understand from a mom's point of view where longing and discontent really play a part in her life. And then for me, being a empty nester where I don't have the children around that I have to really make sure that they're getting to the doctors or to the dentist or doing their homework
Mhm.
anymore or this. I have gone through that, but now I have my own set of, well, what do I do next? Do I quit a job? Do I take this risk? Do I take that risk? It's all about learning how to pause and say, what is going to be best for me so that my body doesn't start to show symptoms of unlived
Mhm.
life. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't live 90 years from you can't live 1 year 90 times. And that's a big
Yeah.
thing. You can't stick with the status quo if it's killing you. That's not life. That really isn't. And why not go for something you would long to do? I mean, maybe we've been talking retail because that's been my background, but maybe you've been teaching at the fourth grade level and you really like the eighth graders,
Mm.
or vice versa. I mean, it's a career is a career. You got to know where you're focused. We talked about that last week with your assets. Look at your assets again this week and then say, what part of my life do I love? And
Mhm.
that is the topic for next week. What would I
What
love?
would I love? Oh, I love that.
What would I love? Because when you start to build your assets and then you say, okay, where is my life right now? What part is longing? What part is discontent? What part am I happy with? Don't go changing everything about your life all at once because there may be parts you love. Like I loved being a mother. There
Mhm.
wasn't a single thing that I didn't like about being a mother. But kids grow up. We can't help that. The kids do
Mhm.
grow up, and now I'm an empty nester. And that's okay. I have a right to live my life now the way I want to. And so my longing is to help all of you to get your life to where you would love. All right, Julie, before I go there, I have one last thing by Les Brown, a quote by Les Brown. We are pushed by pain, the yucky, bloating pain, the headaches, the neck aches, the
Mm.
heartaches. We're pushed by pain or we're pulled by desire. And that
Yeah.
comes from Les Brown. And that is a big part of longing and discontent. Where is your body telling you it's time to stop? Where's your head throbbing that you need to take a new route in life? Because I can tell you, for every discontent, there is a longing you'd love to have. And Julie, I'd love to welcome any last words from you on the topic.
I would just like to say, you know what? Just like you said, Suzanne, whenever you feel that longing and discontent, what I like to say is when we take a time within, we go within, we connect with our heart, our mind, our body, and we ask ourselves, like you said, what would I love? What is going on here? When we take a time within, everyone wins because we feed
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, we nourish ourselves, and that radiates out into the world. Bless you all.
Oh, it's wonderful. So, Julie, I will just wrap up by saying next week on the Aspie Bridge Show, we are looking at what would you love? This is when we start to write out some of the things we'd like to see along our highway in the future. Like, Julie, I'm sure that as your daughter starts to get closer and closer, dare I say it, to 18 and
I
making her
know.
decisions, you're going to start to look at some of the decisions I've made and say, okay, so that was that part of my life. What would I love now?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. It's always changing, right? But in a good way. We want to keep it moving forward in a good way.
Absolutely. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's come on to listen to the two of us today. We hope you don't stay stuck in something that you're not loving right now. I'm not going to dig into relationships because that's next month. This is all about you. This is all about working on you and your insides. You can't have a relationship outside until you decide what you would love inside.
Mhm.
And that's why that's the next month. We're going to talk, next week, we're going to talk about what would I love. So please make sure that you're writing down your assets and then starting to look at what parts of your life that you're discontent with and what parts of your life you're longing for. Just in your life. Don't look at the relationships just yet because the external world is not your inner world. You really need to look at what matters to you. And then next week we'll talk about what would I love. And Julie, I want to thank you for coming on today, and I'm looking forward to the next time we can get together.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And yes, I look forward to the next time. Thank you so much.
Perfect. All right. Emily, we're ready to sign off now.